Hello, friends and fellow wisdom seekers. Welcome on today's episode where we're gonna see one of the most beautiful, one of the most powerful moral story of our time. Come on in and embark on a mysterious tale where the echoes of the past is remembered. Pay attention to the details as I'm reading the story. Once upon a time, there was a young prince named Jahil Ibn Azazel who lived in a kingdom ruled by his abusive father. Despite the harsh upbringing, he found comfort in the company of a female servant who worked in the palace by the name of Asma. She was a beautiful, a gentle woman with a kind heart and a warm smile. He was drawn to her as he grew older, and he found himself falling deeply in love with her. But their love was forbidden, as she was just a servant in the palace and he was the prince. Jahil's father was a cruel and abusive man who ruled the kingdom with an iron fist. He had no regard for the well-being of his subjects, and he was feared by all. Jahil's mother was a kind and gentle woman who had tried to protect her son from his father's wrath, but she was unable to change the king's ways. One day, Asma, the servant, tried to protect Jahil's mother from the king's wrath, but she was tragically killed. In a moment of anger, the prince was heartbroken and filled deep rage, seeking revenge for the loss of the first love of his life. He knew deep down that he had to act really fast, and his father will soon turn his wrath on him. Jahil confronted his father, who was shocked by the sudden change in his son's demeanor. Jahil told him of his love for the servant and how she had been taking care of him. He demanded justice for her death. The king, enraged, attacked his son, but the young prince was quick to defend himself, and in the end, he emerged victorious. But the cost was really high. He had killed all his family members, by the exception of his mother, who died of a heart attack, trying everything to stop him. With his family gone now, Jahil took the throne by force, and he became the new king. He was filled with anger and despair, and he ruled the kingdom with authority, just like his father has done before him. The people of the kingdom feared him, and he was seen as a tyrant with no heart. But then, one day, something has changed completely. The new king remembered the kindness of a young person, the daughter of the cooking lady, who had always prepared him great meals during his darkest moments. He realized in the past that he didn't have to kill them, since they were of good use. He spared the woman and her daughter and made them the cooks of the new kingdom. As he began the work for this mysterious future, Jahil was working tirelessly to improve the lives of his subjects, and he quickly gained their respect and admiration. He became somehow a fair and just ruler who listened to the needs of his people by protecting their interests. He built them schools and hospitals, and he ensured that everyone had enough food and a roof over their heads. Let's go! Part 1 just finished. And as we stand on the brink of change, we will see how silence is broken and how the stage begins to become impressive. I would say that even it is interesting in life how the most chaotic upbringing could lead someone to one of the most powerful personalities. Indeed, in harsh times, the great personalities become. Yes, like the famous philosopher and historian Ibn Khaldun said, in harsh times, strong men are created, and strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Yeah, this is the irony of life. Jahil, now the king, grasped the legacy of his father's tyranny and his own vision for the realm of the future. Witness the transformation of a ruler from the shadows of past battles to potentially lit up hopeful governance. Jahil took the throne by force and became the new king, and he killed his father the previous king, including all his family members, except for his mother, who died of a heart attack. Filled with anger and despair, he ruled the kingdom with an iron fist, and the people of the kingdom feared him. He was seen as a tyrant with no heart. Though he also worked tirelessly to improve the lives of his subjects, he quickly gained later on respect and admiration from many. He considered himself a fair and just ruler who listened to the needs of his people and acted on their behalf. He built schools and hospitals, and he ensured that everyone had enough food to eat and a roof over their heads. Well, just enough so that they serve him and not rebel against him. King Jahil grew to love the new queen by the name of Malika, the daughter of his old servant. He knew that she was the only one who could bring some light back to his life. He made her the queen, and they ruled the kingdom together, and he became somewhat more just and more loved by all his subjects. Years went by, and their love only grew stronger. The king flourished and never forgot about the love he had for that servant who had always been taking good care of him. He was grateful for the love he had found within her. In his eyes, he became a changed man. Most of the time, his heart appeared filled with love and happiness. He was no longer the harsh ruler, though he loved to conquer and expand his dominion through conquests in order to elevate his status, showering him with fame among his allies and showing notoriety among his adversaries. But his deep motivations were veiled with a more complex persona. He was driven by a huge desire for control, who was, in a sense, rooted in the fear of losing those dear to him, and his actions, though outwardly aggressive, were internally justified by the twisted senses of protection and order, as he was the ultimate judge of the kingdom. Maybe that still painted him as a figure with really dark impulses. Jahil, with a grand gesture, swept his arm across the expanse of his luxurious chamber, a testament to the power and glory that he had gained over the years. Behold the might of my kingdom, he proclaimed with pride, his voice echoing on the ornate walls of his rule. There, his servant, standing quietly in the edge of the room, bore witness to this display of splendor. As Jahil continued to extol the virtues of his reign, listening to the achievements of the prosperity that had flourished under his command. I have made schools and hospitals. My lands flourish with bountiful and beautiful harvest. Peace covers my dominion. However, the servant with a hesitant voice interjected, My lord, your kingdom indeed thrives, but remember the words of the sages and the elders at today's conference. We have entered a new era, one that promises the change and the course of our history forever. The servant's words hung in the air, a reminder of today's council. Master, I humbly advise you that if one thinks he is standing strong, he shall be careful not to fall. The king's face darkened at the interruption of his prideful moment. He was wounded by the servant's reminder. Anger flashed before his eyes as he turned sharply towards a man who dared to challenge his ideas. Leave my sight at once, Jahil commanded with his cold voice. And as the command was made, the servant bowed deeply, a mix of fear, concern, and respect fall on his face. He quietly exited the room, leaving the king alone with his thoughts. In the silence that followed, the weight of the elders' warning began to settle over him and his thoughts. A shadow was casted over the glittering expanse of his achievements. Well, join us in part 2, named The King Despair and the Stolen Heir, where the veils of the future began to lift, revealing the contours of destiny that Jahil must face. The kingdom stands at a pivotal pivotal juncture that mimics our own and present time, where we might see new beginnings and new destinies. The kingdom stands at a pivotal juncture that mimics our history in the now. The seas of change are about to come as newborn heroes emerge. Will his position be threatened? Will the warnings of the elders steer him forward and towards a greater legacy, enduring the greatness? Or will his pride and arrogance blind him at the precipice of his feet? Reflect on these moral stories and do not hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments down below. See you all on the next episode. Peace.